Many of you will actually know my great-grandfather. I've heard lots of stories last night. Everyone was telling me their little tidbits that they knew about him. And he actually was one of the 6 men that founded the West Side Irish American Club. So that's kind of where my sponsorship came from. And then from there I just moved forward with it and kind of, you know, felt his presence with me last night and just, you know.
Well, before we get into talking about you and your great honor, I want to tell you a story about your great-grandfather. Back in the late 70s, the Cleveland Magazine did an article on the East Side Irish American Club and on me. And they asked me about the West Side IA and if I knew a lot of the people there, and of course I did. I knew Pat Lynch very well. He was one of the first people I met when I went to the West Side IA many years ago. And they asked me what kind of a guy he was. And I says, well, he used to stand at the door and he'd interrogate people and he'd find out where their mother came from, where their father came from. And of course, your great-grandfather was Pat Lynch's best friend.
Yes, yes he was.
But the way it came out in the article, you have to be awful careful when you talk to reporters, you know. They don't always slant the way, they slant the story the way they want to sometimes. And there was some sentence in there, I can't remember what it was, but it sounded like it might not have been complimentary to Pat Lynch.
Yes, that does sound like my great-grandfather.
And when Tony read it, or your grandfather read it, he called me up and he says, I never want to speak to you again the way you spoke so badly about my friend Pat Lynch. And he never did.
Right, right.
Yeah. So, but he was a great guy, and they were an incredible generation, those group of people.
Yeah.
And it's great to see, Katie, that you're carrying on
Yes.
a wonderful tradition. Last night, something, wasn't it?
Yeah, What, I mean, the production, everyone just coming together. We were saying it's a small but mighty group that was able to put it on last night. So the girls were great, and the support of all of our family and friends were great. The whole atmosphere was just electrifying last night, being on that stage.
You know what I was thinking as I was listening to all of you, especially after the 10 interviews were done. I says, you know, there's some rough times ahead for the male generation, because these smart young women, everyone who was in that group last night was so talented, so smart. So these young guys have some fierce competition coming up in the business world, in medicine, and everything.
Right, yeah.
How come you're all so smart?
I think it's just a matter of,
Be careful how you say this.
Yeah. Just wanting to succeed, you know, everyone has interests in so many areas, and they have a passion for it, and I think when you have a passion for something, you know, it helps drive you to want to be better and to strive for the greatness. So.
I was afraid you were going to say this because all these guys are dumb.
Yeah. No.
You won't do that. I see we have Maria Walsh is in the studio, and of course Granya's here, and her mom is here taking pictures. There's going to be some great pictures in the studio. JC, you're in trouble.
Always.
Before we go to Marie and the rest of the group, let me play a piece of music